Happy Halloween. Horror sucks. No, I don't mean all horror movies suck anymore, but it seems to be kind of a lost art nowadays. The art of subtlety in movies in general seems to be pretty much dead, and it seems to affect horror and comedy the most. And to explain my point today, I'm going to compare and contrast some of my favorite horror movies of all time. As you all know, recently Stephen King's It was remade into a theatrical released movie, and it was better in almost every way. But there's definitely things about the original miniseries that they did better than the remake. And it has to do with subtlety. And no, I'm not saying that Tim Curry as Pennywise was subtle.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out. Clean up. Tell him. Tell him.
That's the last word I'd use. But if you compare the opening scene in the remake to how it was portrayed in the original, there's some key differences. In both versions, Georgie comes across Pennywise when he's in a sewer, and Pennywise uses a conversation to try to gain his trust.
Hey, Georgie. Aren't you gonna say hello?
I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. My Tim Curry was definitely better. In the remake, you see him grab his arm and bite him, and then it rips off and he tries to get away, but he pulls him back in anyway. But in the original, you just see him grab him and then it fades to black. The remake took a more modern approach to horror by just having shock value and gore. But the original faded to black, so you didn't even really know who or what Pennywise was yet. You just knew there was a creepy clown in the sewer. That's it. The subtlety of the mystery keeps the intensity building throughout, but the remake kind of just shows its cards from the beginning. It's relying completely on the fact that you're going to be horrified by what you just saw, whereas the original leaves you in suspense and horrified by what might have happened. That's the thing about leaving it up to your imagination. No matter how good effects get, what you can imagine is always going to be more terrifying than what you actually see. That's why subtlety works so well. Another great example is Psycho. That's literally my favorite horror movie of all time. Now, if Psycho was released today, nobody would watch it. People today would be bored by it because there aren't any jump scares or any gore or anything like that. But that's not what makes things scary. Jump scares are not scary. They're startling. Just because something jumps out on you on screen doesn't mean that it scares you. You're just surprised, and so your body reacts. That's not scary, that's just surprising. That's what horror has become, just a series of jump scares. You're literally watching a 2-hour version of those YouTube videos of jump scares. That's it. That's not scary, it's just startling. There's nothing about it that actually causes fear. In Psycho, it has a psychological aspect to it that is actually terrifying. The whole movie is building in intensity as you're trying to figure out the mystery, and then when the reveal happens, you're in horror of what you've just found out. Norman Bates' inner monologue at the end gives me chills every time I hear it.
Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even gonna swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
That's what horror is about, not a loud sound effect and a gory visual. Not to say that gore can't be utilized in good horror, it can. Perfect examples of that are Saw, Silence of the Lambs, and Scream. But the gore isn't what makes it terrifying. It's the motives behind the characters. That's what makes horror great. It's the psychological aspect of it, not just the scary visuals and the gore and the sound effects and all of that. But anytime anybody tries to make a psychological horror movie anymore, people hate it. They don't want to have to think. They don't want to have to actually be invested in the characters. They just want to see people get killed in gruesome ways. That's not horror. I don't know what that is. It's a gore fetish or something. What's the horror that keeps you up at night? It wasn't a jump scare that startled you. It was something psychological. The fact that you can't see what's in the dark. The fact that you don't know what's under your bed. The fact that he was somebody that they trusted and was likable. That's what makes it scary. Not, It's not scary. Jump scares killed horror. There, I said it. Hopefully people will eventually just get tired of the jump scares and will start making good horror movies again. But until then, I don't know. I'm Simon from SimonsRants. Happy Halloween.